Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. Let me take you back to what was supposed to be one of the best vacations of our lives. A perfect escape to Cancun with my wife, Hannah, and our close friends, Mike and Sarah. We'd been married for 10 years, had 2 beautiful kids, and this trip was our chance to reconnect, a break from the daily grind. Before we left, we dropped our kids off at Hannah's parents' house. They adored the kids, and I trusted them to keep them safe and happy while we were away. It felt like we were just a carefree couple again, set to unwind and enjoy some sunshine, ocean waves, and late-night dancing. At least that's what I thought. After a long flight, we finally arrived in Cancun, checked into a beautiful beachside resort, and headed to our rooms to freshen up. The sea breeze was calming, and I looked over at Hannah, thinking about how lucky I was to have her by my side. She looked stunning, her eyes glinting with excitement. Later that afternoon, we all hit the beach. The water was turquoise, the sand warm under our feet, and the atmosphere was exactly what we needed. As we laid out our towels, I noticed a man across from us looking in our direction, specifically at Hannah. At first I thought I was imagining things, but then I saw Hannah looking back at him. There was something different in her expression, a spark of interest, like she was indulging the attention. "Hey babe," I nudged her. "Should we get some drinks?" She smiled and nodded. "Actually, I'll go grab them. You guys stay here, I don't mind." "All right," I said, settling back down and chatting with Mike. A few minutes later, I looked over at the bar and saw the guy who'd been eyeing Hannah earlier had made his way over there. Hannah was talking to him, her body language relaxed, maybe even inviting. She was smiling, looking up at him as if they were old friends. I felt a wave of unease but tried to shake it off. When she came back with the drinks, I couldn't hold back my curiosity. "So who was that guy you were talking to?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light. "Oh, him?" she said with a casual shrug. "His name's Ryan. He's been to Cancun a bunch of times. So he was just recommending a few spots for us to check out. Nothing serious." I nodded, but something about her tone sounded off. I brushed it aside. Maybe I was reading into things too much. But the thought lingered, buzzing around in the back of my mind. Later that evening, we were all set to go out for a nice dinner and then hit a bar afterward, planning to stay all night long right into the early morning hours, just like we used to do when we were younger. An hour before we were about to go out, I saw Hannah start massaging her forehead. "Ugh, my head," she muttered. "Are you okay?" I asked, watching her with concern. I was excited for a night out but didn't want her to push herself if she wasn't feeling well. She sighed, leaning against the bathroom counter. "I think it's the jet lag, or maybe all that sun today. I've got a terrible headache," she said, pressing her fingers to her temples. "I don't think I'll be able to join you guys tonight." "Oh, all right," I replied, disappointed but understanding. "We can stay in if you need to rest. It's no big deal." She shook her head, managing a small smile. "No, really. Go on without me. I don't want to ruin your night, and I'd feel worse if you missed out because of me. I'll be fine after a good rest. You go and have a good time with Mike and Sarah. I'll catch up with you all tomorrow." After dinner, we were about to head to a bar, but I noticed a splash of sauce on my shirt, probably from that messy taco I'd devoured earlier. "I can't go to the bar looking like this," I chuckled, glancing at Mike and Sarah. "I'll run back to the room to change real quick and check on Hannah, see if she needs anything. I'll catch up with you there." I quickly grabbed a cab back to the hotel, hoping I wouldn't miss too much of the evening. When I reached our door, I heard something, faint but unmistakable, a woman's moans. My stomach dropped as I recognized that sound. I wanted to believe it was something innocent, maybe someone next door. But no, that was definitely coming from inside our room. With my heart racing, I pushed open the door. There, tangled in the sheets of our bed, was my wife. And lying beside her, his face flushed and his arm around her waist, was Ryan, the man from the beach. I froze, feeling a fury I'd never known erupt inside me. Hannah gasped, her eyes wide as she scrambled to cover herself. "James!" she stammered, trying to grab at her clothes to cover her shame. I couldn't contain myself. "What the hell is this?" I shouted, my voice breaking with disbelief and anger. "James, please," she started, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry." "Sorry?" I laughed bitterly. "That's all you have to say? Sorry?" Ryan mumbled something about leaving, but I turned to him. "You're not going anywhere, buddy. I want to hear this. I want to know why you thought it was okay to touch another man's wife." He stammered, grabbing his clothes, muttering a quick, "I'm sorry, man." before bolting out of the room, leaving me alone with Hannah. Hannah started crying, reaching out to me. "James, please. I made a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking." "Oh, you don't know what you were thinking," I yelled. "Then let me remind you. We came here to have a vacation, a fresh start, remember? And here you are, throwing it all away for some random guy you met on the beach." She sobbed harder. I was feeling so bored, and Ryan made me feel, I don't know, alive, I guess. There was a spark." "A spark?" I laughed in disbelief. "We've been married for 10 years, Hannah. We have kids together, and you throw that all away for a spark with some stranger? Unbelievable. James, please, I'm so sorry. I'll do anything to fix this." But I couldn't listen to her anymore. I packed my bag in silence, the weight of betrayal pressing on my chest like a boulder. She tried to stop me, grabbing my arm, begging, crying. But her words were hollow now. Every touch felt like a lie. I couldn't even look at her. I grabbed my phone and messaged Mike. "I won't be joining you for the rest of the night. Something happened. I'll explain later." I walked out, found a nearby hotel, and checked in for the night. I didn't sleep. I just lay there thinking about the kids, about the years I'd invested in our marriage, about every "I love you" that now felt like a farce. The next morning, I went down to the hotel lobby to get some coffee, trying to shake off the weight of it all. As I sat down, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. It was Sarah calling. I answered, her voice immediately full of concern. "James, we saw Hannah this morning. She was a mess, asking where you were. What happened?" I sighed, debating how much to say, but they were my friends. They deserved the truth. She cheated, Sarah, with that guy from the beach." Sarah gasped. "Oh my God, I can't believe this." Neither could I. Later that day, Hannah finally found me. Probably Sarah had told her where I was. She looked terrible. Her face swollen from crying, hair disheveled, desperation written all over her. But as she stood there, pleading, I felt nothing but emptiness. "James," she whispered, reaching for my hand. "Please don't end us like this. I love you. I don't know what came over me. I was selfish and stupid." I pulled my hand away. "Hannah, you betrayed me, and you betrayed our kids. This isn't something I can just get over." "But can't we work through this?" she pleaded. "I don't want to lose you." "It's already over, Hannah. I'm filing for divorce the minute I get back, and I'm going to fight for custody of the kids. I'll also tell your parents what you did." Her face went pale, and for a moment, she looked genuinely terrified. She knew exactly what that meant. Her parents were strict, traditional, and they held family values above everything else. They'd raised her with strong beliefs about loyalty and commitment, and for years, they'd treated me like a son. I'd always respected them, and in turn, they'd trusted me as a father to their grandchildren. The moment they found out, I knew they'd be furious and deeply embarrassed, not just for her, but for their family. This would shatter them, especially coming from their own daughter. I could see the realization sink into Hannah's expression, the understanding that she was about to lose not only her marriage but the respect of her family, too. "James, no, please, you can't tell my parents. They'll hate me. They'll never understand," she said. "Oh, they'll understand all right," I said coldly. "They'll understand exactly what kind of person their daughter is. You know how much I appreciate and respect your parents. They've always treated me like a son, and they deserve to know the truth." She burst into fresh tears, her face twisted with shame and regret. But I didn't feel an ounce of pity. I just wanted to get back home, away from her, away from the lies and betrayal. When I returned home, I told her parents everything. Just as I expected, they were devastated, furious, and embarrassed by her actions. They vowed to stand by me and do everything they could to support me in the divorce and custody process. Hannah tried everything to win me back, but I knew she wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry she got caught. I wasn't about to let her pull me back into her web of lies. That spark she'd felt, that little thrill of excitement, had cost her everything. Her family, her stability, her own parents' respect. The divorce was finalized after 7 long months. During that time, I stayed in our house with the kids. Hannah had nowhere stable to stay. Her parents, still furious and ashamed, refused to let her move back in with them. She'd been crashing at a friend's place temporarily. hoping that with the custody of the kids, the courts would award her our home too. Eventually, with the support of Hannah's parents, I was granted full custody of our kids and I kept our house. Her parents had been as unwavering as they promised, standing by me throughout every court hearing and custody meeting, heartbroken by the daughter they no longer recognized. They found solace in supporting the well-being of their grandchildren, even if it meant standing against their own child. The following months, I focused on rebuilding, one day at a time. I poured my energy into creating a stable, loving environment for my kids, finding strength in the family and friends who had stood by me through everything. Hannah's parents became an even bigger part of our lives, stepping up as supportive, doting grandparents, determined to offer our children the love and stability they deserved. From time to time, I'd see Hannah when she came to pick up the kids for her limited visits. There was a sadness in her eyes, a quiet regret that she couldn't quite hide. She once mentioned she was dating again, but I felt nothing, just a calm acceptance that we were on separate paths. My life, and the lives of my kids, were firmly grounded, and the shadows of her betrayal no longer loomed over us. In the end, I'd found something she had lost, a future built on loyalty, love, and trust. We were free to move forward, and the life I was building with my kids felt brighter than anything I could have imagined before. Thank you for watching.